Hi there! Around 3 years ago I bought my first Dingwall bass, which was this D-Roc Standard 4-string multiscale bass in vintage Sunburst. And after spending some 6 months with it, I made a review video about my experiences. Now that I've had the chance to spend hundreds and hundreds of more hours with it, recording, playing and gigging with it, I think I have a better perspective whether it really was worth all that money. And yeah, definitely. In my original review I mentioned that I was a bit averse on getting a Dingwall since I didn't want to be seen as just another guy that plays Dingwall and Darkglass and sounds good because of those products that they've bought. That's unfortunately an attitude you see a lot. It's quite disheartening to see all the hours you spent researching and fine-tuning your sound to make you sound like you, reduced to just the moment you swiped your credit card at the local multiscale bass store. In the few years I've had this bass, I've had to read some comments like that, and it sucks. That's a big reason on why I still buy and collect and dream about other basses other than Dingwall as well. I also touched on how the bass severely limits upper fret access due to the way that the neck joint has been constructed, and that has been an issue for sure, though a lot less than I expected. There are only few parts in our set that require me to play that high on the fretboard, and I've seldom run into it making covers as well. The neck joint does limit your upper fret access, but I can still very comfortably reach the 15th and 16th fret on the lower strings and even higher on the higher strings. So in reality there's only a few frets left that require you to make a bit of a stretch to reach. That should also be good for most bass lines out there, let's be real. One other complaint I had was a thing that they've since fixed and continue to improve upon. In the original video I mentioned that I had some sharp corners on these bridge saddle pieces that I kept striking my hand into and hurting it. Dingwall did send me some rounder replacement parts which alleviated the issue, but I'm still not a huge fan of this bridge design. It just feels clunky. The top of this bass is a gorgeous curved design, and then there's this ugly protruding piece of metal right where you want your hand to slide comfortably across. It's not nice. Dingwall has since started using their new minimalist bridge design on a lot of their basses, and I believe their intention with it is to make all of their import basses use the new minimalist bridge design as well. All due time. I have it on my 5-string bass and it is incredible. Super easy to use, super sleek and full of fine engineering. I can't wait to get myself a 4-string bass with this same bridge. My last issue was that the satin finish on this bass had gotten really glossy really fast, and that unfortunately hasn't gotten any better. Pretty much the whole backside of the bass is now glossy, or at least semi-glossy, and there are these ugly rings around the potentiometers where I've been touching with my fingers. Blech. The pickup covers are very worn out due to getting pummeled with my pick and sometimes even with the strings themselves. So if you want a bass that's going to keep looking incredible even after years of use, perhaps choose a gloss finish. And definitely stay away from the black satin finish if that is something that you value. Now that we've gone over the major complaints I had about this bass originally, how about the rest? Do I still enjoy the tone, the playability, and the lightweight? And the answer to that is an enthusiastic yes. If I had to choose one bass to play the rest of my life with, it would probably be this. Or more likely 3 of these for different tunings. It's incredibly light, extremely resonant, and responds to my playing just the right way. This bass weighs at around 3.4 kilograms, which makes it light enough that I can still comfortably move around on stage without feeling that there's anything hindering me or holding me back. The finish on the back of the neck has worn a bit, but it's still far from the stickiness of a glossy neck. Tone-wise, I never really gelled with the way that Dingwall had this bass wired originally. I felt that all of those tones were, yeah, great in their own accord, but way too thick for any of my uses. So I had this bass wired for a custom pickup setup. The pickups are still the original Dingwall FD3N pickups, which, by the way, are actually a kind of reverse precision bass pickup inside these covers, and not humbuckers as some sites would like you to believe. But yeah, about the pickup wiring. So currently I have a 3-way rotary switch over here, and the way it is wired, I have in the first position the bridge and the neck pickups in parallel, kind of like the standard jazz bass pickup setup. And on the next position I have the bridge and the middle pickups in series, and in the last position I have just the middle pickup soloed, kind of like a standard precision bass tone. And out of all of these I just use the first position for the jazz bass tone. Tone-wise, this results in a sound that is very reminiscent of your standard jazz bass tone, just kind of supercharged. We get a fuller and tighter bass with a more focused treble bite. The one problem with this is that the tone is indeed supercharged. Many pedals that have a bit of a problem handling a lot of bass don't really work with this bass at all. Those include a lot of the fuzzies that I've tried here and the 2-note revolts. The presets that I've made for my Dingwalls also sound a bit anemic on your typical jazz basses. As for strings, I've actually found a lot of success in just using strings from manufacturers that wind their strings to over 38 inches from the ball end into the first taper. That includes DR strings, the Dario super longs, and also Ernie Ball super longs and Dunlop super long strings. DR Strings also introduced a new Dragonskin Plus, a multiscale string set that is tapered on the ball end and which can fit onto 5-string D-Roc basses as well. Currently I'm using a custom set from NewTone Strings. They make their strings as custom sets in the UK and they are handmade, priced very reasonably, and you can spec them pretty freely. The set I'm using is calibrated for my drop B tuning on this bass, and it has a 0.050, 0.067, 0.087 and a 0.125 as the B string. All of these strings are tapered at the ball end except for the thinnest string. I'm finding that these have all the aggression that I need, and they last for months in my use. So I'm pretty happy with my choice. And this is not a paid advert. I just happen to know that there are a lot of Dingwall players that can't find their strings in their gauges from our continent. Personally, I'm a bit tired at the only choices being a 45 to 100 gauge 4-string set and a 45 to 130 gauge 5-string set. Bass strings are notoriously limited when it comes to available gauges anyway. Like, where are all the drop C sets? Some people might be put off by the super small nickel frets that Dingwall uses, but even with my heavy use and heavy hands and use of stainless steel strings, these only show the faintest bit of wear and are nowhere near to warrant a fret level, not to mention a replacement. The very small fret size has definitely become a favorite of mine, and I really hope that other manufacturers could embrace that as well. It just makes sense on bass. You are not bending that much anyway. It also makes my playing more fluid and has this very grounded feel to it. As a conclusion, even after 3 years of heavy use, I'm still very much in love with my Dingwall D-Roc, and it has been a great partner on my musical journey. These basses go for a little under 2,000 euros in the European market, which is roughly the same as a Fender American professional bass would cost. Which, by the way, is the exact bass that I traded in to get this. These Dingwalls are, in my opinion, twice the basses that Fender makes on any of their factory lines, even though they are mostly made in China. The fact that it comes with a great, very light but very sturdy Gigbag is actually my preference over a hard case. Since I do a lot of traveling via the public transit system, lugging around a hard case is often more trouble than it's worth. I am 100% in love with my Dingwall, and I hope you found this video informative. But that's all for now. I'm going to continue rocking this bass on my videos, on my recordings and on my live performances, and I'll see you all in the next video. In the meanwhile, if you liked this video, you can check out all my other videos on the page, subscribe to the channel, and also check out my Ko-fi page, where you can find my tone packs, presets, and a way to support me directly. That's all for now. I'll see you next time. Bye!